Hi guys, this is Doris with Doris Yoga Therapy, and I want to show you today a little sequence about back pain. So let's get right into it. We do a little warm-up. We are on the floor. So you place yourself down, you have your knees all the way up, and you just can rock from side to side with your hands right next to you, or you have another option. You can put your hands on the outside of your thighs and you're rocking from side to side, massaging your low back here. This is our little warm up. And you can do this as long as you like. When you're staying here for like a minute or two, that's up to you. And the second one would be, you're creating a tiny little circle with your knees. Tiny little circle with your knees. Your knees are together. And you rock, you create that circle, same amount. Like let's say you do like number 4, then you switch the circle in the other direction. And again, this is all a warm up. So we are massaging here our tailbone, our last vertebra. And then another warm up is you bring your hands on your knees. You're taking an inhale, and on an exhale, you're reaching your knees towards your chest. This way, you're really pushing your low back down. It's a great stretch. Inhale, you bring your knees forward. Exhale, you push it back towards your chest. You want to stay always on the same number. So when you do a 4, a 6, a 8, a 10, this is all up to you how many times you want to do that. This is all a great warm-up. You can do this in the morning. You can do that in the evening, before you go to bed. And then there's another warm-up, hands underneath your knees. And you're coming up this way. Or when you don't want to rock, you come to your side, rolling over this way. And from here, your hands are lined up. They are shoulder width apart and your knees hip width apart. All 10 fingers are pressed down. We are moving into cat and cow. You bend your elbows, you drop your belly, you are looking forward. On an exhale, you round your back as much as you can. You tuck your chin towards your chest. Inhale, you bend. Gazing forward. On an exhale, you round your back, chin is tucked in, elbows are straight. Again, you want to do this like 4 to 6 to 8 times. It's wonderful for your whole back, so you're loosening everything up in your back. And after cat and cow, a really good pose is we are using later on the bolster, but before you want to come into Cobra. So in Cobra, you have your feet a little bit wider than hip width apart, and you place your sacrum down. You're reaching your elbows towards your rib cage. Your hands are pressed down. You can look towards your chest, or you can look forward. This is all up to you. And what we're doing here, we are stretching really good here, the low back. It's an amazing stretch. You can use any kind of sigh out, so you can sigh out with your mouth open. And when you state of a number of 6 breaths, you do 6 breaths. When you do 8 breaths, you do 8 breaths. So, very optional. And now the counterpose to Cobra. And we are using today the bolster with it. So the counterpose is a variation of child's pose. You bring your knees apart as wide as your mat is. Your toes are touching. And you reach that bolster. So you take your bolster right in front of your knees. You have your hands on your knees. Hands on the bolster. And you're reaching that bolster forward, 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 forward until you feel that's amazing stretch here for your whole torso, underneath your armpits, for your arms, and especially for your back. It's also optional. You can bring your forehead all the way down on the ground if that feels good. You can stay here for a while. To count of 8 breaths or whatever. The other option in child's pose, you reach that bolster closer to you, touching your knees. You bring your knees together and you reach your forehead down and your palms are facing up. Your shoulder blades are relaxed. And what happens here, you're stretching your back again. You're stretching your shoulder blades again. Or you stay here for a count of 8 with your breaths, or you split it up. You do 4 breaths with the bolster reaching forward and then 4 breaths here. This is a very short sequence, but it works really, really well. And the last pose with that would be happy cow pose. And we do it not in sitting up today, we do it in lying down. This way we are protecting our whole back. What you want to do, you cross your knees over and you push your low back down. You push your low back down. You bring your hands towards your ankles or towards your shin. You relax the shoulders. You close your eyes. And I suggest you stay on each side for a minute. So you can put it on the timer, or you count to a count of 60. This is up to you. And then once you finish that, you want to shift over to the other side. But before, you want to kick your heels a little bit towards your buttocks to loosen it up. And then you cross your legs the opposite. And again, you hold on towards your shin or towards your ankles. Shoulders relaxed, your face is relaxed. And you will stay here for another minute. When we are going in a beautiful stretch like this, stay very, very focused and present. You don't want to think about anything. You want to be with the pose and the breath. So let's say you did this for a minute. You shake out your legs again. And the last pose, and I'm giving you 2 options here. And the one we could use a chair. So you are coming down, you bring your legs up, and you're placing yourself down again, and so your legs are right here. And here you can stay like for 5 minutes. You want to make sure that you're not popping up with your low back. You push your low back down, you relax your hands. You can bring your hands out to the side, palms are facing up. And you can put the beautiful music on if you want to do that. This is one of the best poses for any kind of back pain. And the other version, when you don't want to use the chair and you want to do it even higher, you can do like the legs up the wall. So legs up the wall, you would like not beat the chair right now. So you come close to the wall. You come close to the wall. You place yourself down on your back. And you wiggle, wiggle, wiggle until your buttocks is touching the wall. And you have your feet hip width apart, or you can have it a little bit wider apart. You can have your hands on your belly, or you have your hands out to the side, palms are facing up. So it's the same thing, then legs up the chair, legs up the wall. Again, for 5 minutes you can stay here. You don't want to think about anything. And that would be the sequence. When you're coming down, you're always coming over to the side and slowly coming back up again. So one more time, this sequence means like you follow one pose after the other. Now the Cobra and the child's pose is always linked together, since when you do Cobra you want to do the Counterpose, and that's child's pose. But otherwise you can do all these poses alone. And I wish you a wonderful time with that sequence.